Hello and welcome to the Dharma Life podcast. I'm your host, Aloise Middleton. And today I have with me a past Dharma Life Academy student, a lady called Fiona Leishman. And the reason I wanted Fiona to come on the show is she has gone on to do great things, varied and great things. She's not only a transformational life coach, she's studied NLP. She does fire walks. She does arrow walks where you break an arrow with your neck. She does somatic breath work, soundbars, retreats, one-to-ones, workshops. I could go on, Fiona. It's quite incredible what you've gone on to do. And tell us what you were doing. What was your job when you started the academy? What were you doing?
So I was working for a healthcare IT company as what was I by the end? I was a sales director. I was a strategic account manager for the for the company working with the NHS. So I worked at government level, health board level across three countries, Scotland, Northern Ireland and Wales, managing the accounts and contracts for those. Um, yeah, so healthcare IT,
Sounds like quite a
a
big
little bit
job.
different. Do you know, I think I'd done it that long that it was just what I'd done. But when I look back now, it was a massive job. It was a very niche job. It was a very sociable job. I account managed more than 500 GP practices across three countries. Actually, it would have been more than that by the time we brought in Wales at the end. Um, I travelled all the time, so I got to see some incredible places, including places like Shetland and the Scottish Islands, places that I possibly would never have went to see. But I did that job for 13 years, so you know when you do something for a long time, it just becomes second nature. And there's a lot of it. By the end of it, I was very, very frustrated. COVID completely and utterly stuck me in a box and stuck me on a computer. So all the social aspects of it, getting out and about, the traveling, all of that disappeared, and that's when I hit my most frustrated point. Yeah, and it became it became very soulless in regards to monthly targets, quarterly targets, those kind of things. It became spreadsheets and Zoom calls, and yeah, it lost its spark. When I look back though, there's, the early years of that, I love that. And there's so much of that that now becomes part of what I do, running workshops and classes and retreats and sound baths and being around so many people, but doing it in a different way now and understanding. And I get a lot of people that come from corporate life and they come in and they've hit burnout and things like that, and having that kind of understanding of where they're at, and that push for change, that point in life where you know something has to change, but you're too safe with the cash, the monthly salary. I get a lot of people that come at me and say, "How did you do that? How do you do that? I don't know how I would do that. What would I want to do?" And then that's when I
Have a
think
secret
where
weapon.
you should. That's where you should get on top of Dharma Academy
Yeah.
because
Where were you when you joined the academy? Because it was post-COVID, wasn't it? Or it was sort of in the middle of
It was
COVID.
like it was the end of 2020, I think I joined the academy. That's when I came across you during COVID. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So what was happening in your life when you joined?
So what had happened was I was that kind of job, right? You're a total party girl because you're at conferences and you're away all the time and you're traveling. And so I was drinking a lot. I was getting into horrendous relationships. And the one that had just ended in, I think it was about August 2019, was quite a violent relationship. I'm going to take that back because I heard something the other day about it wasn't the relationship, it was the person. I was in a relationship with a violent and very manipulative and controlling person. And it took multiple times to get out of that relationship, and I finally managed to come out of that relationship in around about August 2019. That left that was so damaging, and to survive basically and get through every day, I really upped the alcohol. I was drinking because I was scared to go out the house. I was scared in the house. I was drinking because I was basically vibrating with fear constantly. And when I say vibrating, it is like somebody hit the switch for fight or flight,
Mm.
and I was stuck. I was stuck in that constant vibration. Um, so I was drinking constantly. I was so scared. I was scared, and he was at some points. I'm sure he was following me because I'd had messages and emails and things like that. And I even know that I went into a police station at one point, and I'm 100% sure he's seen me get in that police station because there was an email afterwards. So there was so much going on, and it came to January 2020. And I went to an event and I got extremely drunk to the point where I think I probably had alcohol poisoning. And the next day, I don't know how I got home or anything like that, but I was so ill and I was so tired. I was exhausted. And it was at that point I decided I had to stop. The only thing I could control was how much alcohol I put in my system, and that had to be the starting point. So I stopped drinking the 25th of January 2020, and I went to some hypnotherapy classes on a Friday night for a few weeks, and then bam, COVID hit. I had even booked a retreat, a hypnotherapy and yoga retreat in India, and of course, that all got kiboshed because of COVID. But what COVID done for me was I had a full-time job. It took me off the road, but it put me in front of the laptop. And I had to do all that work 9 till 5 in front of the laptop. That was fine. I'd done that. I was totally bored, but I was also very safe. I was in my house. I got to the point where nothing made sense, so I couldn't watch the TV. So I just started working 9 till 5, and then in the evenings I would sit at the dining table with jigsaws and podcasts. And that is where I came across you, was through all of those podcasts in 2020. And then you ran a challenge. I think it was like a 7 day or a 10 day challenge. And there was like daily calls and tasks, and I done that. And that was after that, I was like, I'm joining that academy because it totally matched where I was at, but it also felt like it would help me find some direction. And that is basically what then happened. I was in the academy only a few months. We done so many different things like future visualizations, emotional vibrational scales, all sorts of things that were things that I already believed and trusted, but it was then within a community, people that were totally supporting and meeting you where you were at and cheerleading you as well. And it was from there that I ended up starting the transformational life coaching course. Um,
So it was the same one that I did, I think, wasn't it?
it was,
Mm.
and because I remember reading some things, and then I actually asked you one day, where do you think I could do this course? And you said to me, try mindful talent. And honestly, what ended up happening was I looked them up, and the next course was starting about 3 days later.
Mm,
It was like
wow, it's amazing
you,
when
you
that
know
happens.
how big that course
Yeah,
was? It's 20
yeah,
weeks, it's quite intense. And it was starting like 3 days later. And that tends to happen with, with things that are supposed to happen. Like, if you want it, it's happening now, let's do it.
yeah.
And I found that with a few courses that I've went on to do that they're starting the next day or a couple of days later. There's not much. So that ended up being the starting point. Done the transformational life coaching course. It was phenomenal. Made so many changes. Was working with clients, but what I was finding was coaching, you want to go forward and set goals. That is amazing. But there was some times where there was blocks and we needed to go back. And I came across a guy. that was doing a presentation at a thing that I went to, a wellness day that I went to, and I was totally, wow, what is he doing? And it turned out he was doing NLP. And I went to him and I said, what are you doing and where can I learn that? Because it fitted with the coaching and what I was starting to see with clients. And he said to me, go to the Scottish Centre of NLP. I went there again. This course was starting only a few weeks later. It was 7 days in a room in Glasgow. And I went there and I did my NLP course with Brian and Steve. And that was like the Scottish Centre of NLP. And that was amazing. And then since then, one thing has just led to another, and things just keep layering on top of each other. And now, for the last 2 years, I've got another year to go. I've been studying out in Austria for the integrative somatic breathwork, but it's not just breathwork, it's absolutely everything. It's energy, it is psychotherapy, it's so many things. And just, I was talking about rebirthing. I was only out a couple of weeks ago and we done a rebirthing course, and that just took things to a whole other level for me. So I, over the last 4 years, 4 years, 5 years since I started Dharma, so much has happened. And I kept saying I was going to quit my job and do this full time, and then finally I got made redundant. So there was no choice. And in that redundancy, it was a
So
case of
part-time at one stage, and then
I
you
did, I did. I dropped that. That's right. I dropped from 5 days to 4 days, and actually, because I came down a tax bracket, I had more take-home pay. So there was all like we done loads of work around money, our money relationships, and things like that. I remember all of that work. Money is a massive fear for a lot of people, and I remember the day that I dropped like dropped down one day, and I kept thinking, right, you'll just need to. You'll work it out. There'll be less cash, but you'll work it out. It'll be fine. And then the next month, after having this day off every week, the next month when the paycheck came in, I actually had more take-home pay because the tax man was taking less cash.
because you dropped a tax bracket, and that if that's not
Mhm.
a sign, isn't it? Then I don't know what is.
Exactly. So, and then when I was out in Austria just a couple of weeks ago doing the warm water rebirth, and I had an experience of just there's nothing you can control. Zero. There's nothing we can control. And it's moments like that, remembering, the paycheck. The paycheck gave you more than you thought, like, absolutely gave you more because that's how it was supposed to be. It was the right thing to happen. So when you need what you need, it'll show up. And that's what I got a firm reminder of that in Austria during the warm water rebirthing. There's nothing we can control. What you need in this moment will show up, or you have the skills to make it happen. And it's powerful stuff when you start to live your dharma. Just live that, trust. I ran a retreat day yesterday, and a massive part of the conversation for two people in the room was that they're at that crossroads themselves. They're ready to make a change. What's the fear? The fear is, I like the lifestyle I have because the paycheck's secure.
Mm.
Okay, it's the same story. It's this money fear that we have.
Want to be happy, or do you want to be comfortable, basically?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think
Hmm.
sometimes there's a transitional period, isn't there, where we can kind of drop down in our earnings, but that's only while we're learning our craft and we're learning our our holistic approach. So, I think if you want to be happy, then you have to look at your life and just say, am I happy? Because if you're not happy, then realistically there needs to be a change that gets made.
Absolutely. If
Otherwise,
you're not happy, if you're not happy, because we work so many hours a week, right? It consumes us, this work situation. And see if it's not fulfilling you, or if there's not a balance in there. And we talk about work-life balance, but see if you're dreading going to work, you're not enjoying it. That is going to impact every other part of your life. It's going to impact how you show up with friends and family, your attitude, your mood. It's going to impact absolutely everything. Why keep putting yourself through that? Because the money's good, because the car looks nice, because you get your nails done, because you rein it in a wee bit. Stop, have a wee think to yourself. What fills me up and why am I doing this? Because life, aye, it's not worth being miserable.
And
It really.
one of the things about Dharma is it says that you have your unique gifts and talents and you're combined with your passions. Can you see
Mhm,
how you're utilizing your unique gifts and talents that you probably had in your corporate career, now
mhm.
combining it with your passions?
Yeah, I did. So people hire me to do the empowerment stuff, like the arrow breaks, the glass walks, the fire walks. And when I walk into a room and stand up in front of, so the other week there was 18 women, they don't know me. I walked into that room and I turned it into that salesperson, that trainer, that motivation. It's not a different personality, it's just something that has grown in me over the years of being able to stand in stages and present. It used to be that I presented GPIT software. Now it's that I present belief in yourself. Let's take an action. Let's come back to this person instead of worrying about what the rest of the world think. And so yeah, I can see where the skills absolutely. There's a reason. There's a reason I did the job that I did and learned the things that I learned because I don't feel nervous walking into a room full of people and standing there and doing it. I don't. And a big part of, I'd done a lot of training for years as in I was the trainer. I would walk into a surgery. I worked for HMRC as well. I would walk into a room and I would present and train people. What you learn when you're doing those kind of things is how to read the room. You can see in people's faces fear, worry, anxiety. You can see if somebody's bravadoing you or not paying attention. All of that is 100% transferable. I walk into a room now and I say, we're going to break arrows with your neck. I instantly can see fear, worry, and anxiety. Or I can see the loud bravado that's, I'm just going to do it to show everybody else I can do it. I now know how to bring that back and adjust my presentation and adjust the work that I do when that person is eye to eye with me, ready to do something that is very scary. They're not going to be able to do it if the fear is bigger than the want. But when I have that person eye to eye, I'm able to really adjust what I'm saying to meet and match their energy. So I take my old life and all that body language and all of that work and I bring it into my new life. And we're talking about self-belief, mental health, we're talking about anxiety. It's all the same thing, just sometimes presents in different scenarios. So I can see where all of it is valid and all of it's needed because it transfers. And I think we really overlook. So when I'm sitting with people and they say, I want to change my life, it doesn't mean that we have to box up the old life to have a new life because there's things that can float, there's things that cross over. They float in and out and you see them. You'll see them in moments of standing in front of a room, getting people motivated, ready to do something. You see it. Wow, I remember when I used to stand in front of rooms of GPs who didn't want to stop writing in paper and they didn't want to use computers. And I had to motivate those people and get them to trust that the process was useful for them. It was going to make their life better. You can see where things move and fit and connect. So we
Mm.
don't need to end the old stuff and start the new stuff. It can flow into each other.
And what would you say to somebody who's listening to this, who's in their kind of 3D day job, who's feeling frustrated, who is kind of wanting to get out but not really knowing where to start?
What I would say is don't try and find the end point yet. What I would say is let's break it all down and I would go and use the basic life coaching tools that you learn. Let's break your life down into sections. Let's see where your joy is. And then we go on a journey of unpicking, like going through the layers of who that person is. What brings you joy? What is your passion? We don't need to know what the end goal is yet because we sometimes don't know it. Sometimes it is a case of why don't you drop a day at work and see how life changes a little bit when there's less work and there's more life? So it would be working with people one to one because there's ways that life can adjust to be better. And when we make small changes, the big stuff comes. I would also say find things like Dharma Academy. Find communities. There are so many people out there that are lost and they're just getting up and going through the motions. They're distracting themselves with TikTok and all of the other things that keep our brains busy and not coming into ourselves. Yesterday, multiple times in that workshop, we sat in silence and listened to a river. And that always blows my mind because at the end, people say to me, I don't know the last time I sat still. Let's start learning how to sit still because you're not going to learn what you like and what you want to do until everything else slows down a wee bit. So I would encourage them to do something along the lines of a bit of life coaching.
And I think having a community like the Dharma Life Academy is open for people. They want to go in and do the programs. The community is open for people. So I think having a like-minded community is so powerful. People on the journey with you because you can bounce ideas off. Like you still speak to quite a few people, don't you?
Absolutely. The community is so, everything you learn in Dharma is amazing. And it was the right thing at the right time for me. But the community still goes on. There's still support, there's still encouragement, there's still little messages of love and those kind of things. Having a community a place where you can say, I'm thinking about this or I'm feeling this way, and people just jumping in and saying, I've tried this or I've tried that, or have you looked up this, or sending you some love and some support. Wow, and it's people that get you as well because they're at the same place. They're going through similar things. Sometimes friends and family don't quite get what you're trying to say and they want to try and fix it for you. The reality is, nobody can fix anything for you. You need to go on the journey yourself, and that's what Dharma allows you to do. It gives you that space, but also a little bit of direction. Go on that journey through the layers of yourself, and that is what's important. It's not about the external, it is about understanding what your money fears are, understanding where on a vibrational scale you are matching and meeting the world every day. It's about understanding how to bring yourself back into alignment, energy. It's about understanding all of the things that are not out there, they're in here. And that's what Dharma teaches you. And then the community supports that.
Yeah, I think
That is so valuable.
so valuable, really is valuable to have a really kind of strong community around you of people doing the work. We have to do the work. Like we look outside of ourselves for the answers, and actually the answers are inside of ourselves.
Hmm.
It's tuning in, isn't it, to that higher self, that connection. So you
Hmm.
get the nudges, and you're listening to your soul, and you're then on the correct dharmic path, which so many of us are out of alignment with because we are chasing the money or we're doing things because we're comfortable.
Hmm.
So what's the vision now, Fiona? Like you must have extended your vision from when you were in Dharma days.
Yes. So I got made redundant from that job nearly 3 years ago, and I fully committed to this. So I run a company called Unleash Your Mind, and I have a treatment room where I work with people one to one. I offer things like Reiki, sound therapy, breath work, trauma release. I also do lots of things where private sound baths, events, retreats, workshops, all of that happens every day, every week now, and that is just completely and utterly the norm. I'd love to upgrade. I'm ready to upgrade from a treatment room to what I seen in a vision 5 years ago. And it was a vision, it was the future visualizations that we used to do. You used to lead them in the academy, and I seen some incredible things. So my 2 year vision happened. I'd sold my house. I'd seen that in a vision. I was going to be selling my house. I was going to do this full time. That has absolutely happened. I had a 5-year vision of a wellness centre. I think that's very much in energetic motion. I've had to lay foundations and learn my craft, is how I see the last few years, really learn what is the right thing and what doesn't quite fit. There's constant upgrades to this, personal upgrades. So all of that is going to move forward into something bigger than a treatment room. Um, I feel there's quite a big change coming in 2026,
World
but
Centre.
yeah, there's definitely something. I'm trying to stay a little bit detached from it and do what I need to do every day. So right now I need to do X, Y, or Z. That's the plan. Right now,
Intention, attention, no tension.
yes. Yes, because the more I get too attached to something in the future, the more stressed I end up getting because it's not happening fast enough. But there's nothing we can control. So I will visualize this. I know it's coming. And in the meantime, what I'll do is I'll get up every day and I'll do what feels right for me, and I will put in place anything that I can put in place that day to make the next bit happen. So right now it's about getting some cash into my bank account. That's what I'm working on because cash means the next bit can happen. That's what I'm dealing with. That's the only stress I'm having the day. It's not even stressful, to be honest. It is. I've set the intention and the universe keeps delivering. It keeps delivering. So the only thing I'm stressing about is trust. Trust. Don't know how many times you need to be shown that this works. Keep coming back to that. Take a breath and trust. You can only deal with what you can deal with in the moment. So I believe there's massive things coming, but if you'd asked me 4 or 5 years ago if I would have been living this life, I would have said to you, I want to live this life. I don't know how I'm going to make it happen. Now I'm living this life. I'm trying not to worry about how the next bit's going to happen. And that is taking time. It's taking a lot of work on my part. Fear is a natural thing. Our ego, getting in our roads is a totally natural thing. It's all about keeping us safe. But see, at the end of the day, we are souls. We are souls here to do something, and I don't think it is sitting at a computer 9 till 5.
No.
I don't think it's that. I think we're here for a whole other reason, and it can be as simple as opening a door to people every day and saying good morning, and that just bringing somebody's energy up. I believe I'm here to do a lot of work with a lot of people, and that is happening all the time, and it's phenomenal.
People work with you, Fiona, if they want to find you.
So I have a website, unleashyourmind.co.uk. You can get me on all the socials, Instagram, Facebook, even TikTok, because whenever somebody does an arrow break or a glass walk, it goes nuts on that platform. As much as it's not my favourite place, it's a place where people are finding information. So I love when videos go up there because people will say, "Why are you doing that?" And then I'm able to say they're doing it because they know that they can do something that's bigger than them and there nothing can get in their road. It symbolises something greater than the glass that they're walking on or the arrow that they're breaking. It symbolises something greater and it brings them back to their own power and a reminder of how incredibly powerful they are so that I get a chance to also interact and communicate with people through platforms I'm not that fussed about. So it
And you
gets the
find
message
TikTok
out.
effective, do you, with the arrow breaks?
They go mad. Like the videos go absolutely crazy mad. The comments, I don't put a lot of the videos up because I'm actually there doing the work and facilitating the thing. But when somebody that's videoed their own arrow break and they put it on TikTok and they like they tag me in it, these things go viral. Like, we're talking millions of views and hundreds of thousands of comments and interactions.
Fantastic.
Mind blowing. It's mind blowing. So it's not my favorite platform. I don't like it, but I
Have
gave
really
in
Fiona.
because the feedback from people, they would like screenshot it and send me it and tell me, look how many people have viewed this. And it has its place. If people are asking questions, if people are curious, why are you doing that? Then it's maybe the seed that needs to be planted for that person to then move into a journey of their own. So it has its place. It probably can do some good. Well, it does. It can do some good if it's that kind of content people are watching. If it's absolute nonsense, yeah. I'm also very big and very bossy about if you want to start learning who you are and what you do, you need to be careful of what you're consuming. So another Dharma lesson
Yeah,
in there.
yeah.
If you're consuming rubbish,
Nearly in your ear. Yeah, if you're surrounding yourself with news, TV, then you're not going to get very far.
if you're consuming absolute rubbish, you're going to be thinking some rotten stuff. Let's quieten it all down. So yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, fantastic. So people can find you. What's your Instagram handle, Fiona Leishman?
It's yeah, so you'll get me as Fiona Leishman or it's Unleash Your Mind, so it's
Okay,
UNLEISH because it's a play on my name.
very nice. Excellent. Thank you for coming on and sharing your story. I really appreciate you sharing your story of, being in the Dharma Life Academy and what impact it had and and I'm so proud of you for how well you're doing. So congratulations. I know that this is the next level. It feels like you're about to up level and go to the next level.
Yeah, Aloise, the impact Dharma Life Academy had was massive. It absolutely had its place for me. It's still something that I warmly think about, and there's so many lessons that I still use. And to be honest, I believe that everything happens for a reason, but having Dharma in my life and all the people in the community, all the lessons, yourself, I think it was absolutely the right thing at the right time, and it is something that will never be far away for me. So you have created something phenomenal, and if people actually look at what you've done, they'll see they'll see some magic there. So well done, and thank you very much.
Oh, that's really sweet of you. Thank you, darling. I really appreciate that. Right, we will be back next week with another incredible guest on the Dharma Life podcast. But no, thank you again, Fiona. Really lovely for you. Really appreciate you being here and really appreciate you sharing your journey.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for listening to the Dharma Life podcast. I do hope you enjoyed this episode. Please come over and say hello on my Instagram, our Facebook group, and also please let me know what you thought. So if you are listening, please take a screenshot of the podcast that you are listening to. Tag me on Instagram and I will reshare your post, and please let me know what it is that you got out of today's episode. Remember, when we do our Dharma, we are happier, healthier, we live longer, and we have a deep sense of unshakable inner peace.